Afternoon to all. My name is Stephen Roberson, and I'm an organizer. I met Fred Ross almost 50 years ago in the Imperial Valley in California as we began a campaign to sign up 100,000 workers into the union as a result of the law that enable farm workers to vote for the union of their choice. Fred Ross was a tall drink of water, and I wasn't used to looking up to other people. But he showed me just such a depth in what he believed in: the house meeting, the relational meeting, the face-to-face meeting, the transformation of other people. He had a deep belief in other people, and I love that about him. And I appreciate you, Margot, for thinking about me and giving me an opportunity to be a witness publicly to the contribution he made in my life, because that's how I know him. There's a lot of kind people in the room who invested in me. I can't name them all. Dolores, thanks for your kind words. Fred was always there. Something was wrong with Fred. Because he would reach out. See, I was on the opposite coast. I was on the East Coast in the New York City area after I did my work with the farm workers. But he would reach out at such uncommon times, just like out of the blue. And it wasn't always to organize me into helping him do something. It was sometimes out of just a genuine caring about Brother Stephen, the weird black kid who wandered into the Imperial Valley to work primarily with Mexican Americans and some black watermelon pickers. Those were tough days. So to see that tall drink of water who had such an interest in me, I couldn't understand it. I'm not sure I'm clear about it yet. But in looking at this room, I say, in the name of old Negro spiritual, leaning on the everlasting arms, what a fellowship, what a joy divine, leaning on the everlasting arms. And I see this as a real illustration of Fred's arms. And they were long. They were long, I'm telling you. I want to say that Fred was there in those fields when I first got there in 74, 75, Salinas. He was fighting Bruce Church, getting that honorary grower, who was a cruel grower, to capitulate to a union contractor. And he ground it out day after day. The second time I remember him was when I had to say goodbye to a dear friend of mine, Jessica Govea Thorburn, who passed away from breast cancer. And he traveled to New York City to preside in that memorial, to remember such a giant as Jessica. The next time I met him was where he cared about me when I transitioned out of 23 years of work with the Industrial Areas Foundation. And I was looking, where would I go next? Fred heard about it and put me in touch with Eliseo Medina from the SEIU, Service Employees International Union. And we began to build a campaign to organize thousands of security officers all up and down the East Coast. So Fred was there at uncanny times, and he would also come to me and say, how's your family? And he'd share with me, although I never met you, Margot, and I never met the children, but he always talked about you anyway. You were part of any conversation. I want to end by saying I think that I inherited something from Fred that I am now charged with taking forward. And that is that he believed in the transformation of a human person. and he never lost energy for that. He called me up in his last phone call, and I said, how you doing, Fred? He said, I'm fighting this cancer. I'm fighting this cancer. I couldn't understand why you started out saying something like that. And then going right into a fight, okay, because he was a fighter. Could you help me with this? Could you help me raise money for the film of my dad, who also contributed to me? So in the spirit of this inheritance, I want to share with you something that embodies the work of Fred, I think. It came from the Amalgamated Clothing Workers Union in a film called The Inheritance. And some of you may know the song, and you should sing with me if you do. Freedom doesn't come like a bird on the wing, doesn't come like the summer rain. Freedom, freedom, it's a hard-won thing. You gotta work for it, fight for it, day and night for it, and every generation's got to do it again. Pass it on to your sisters, brothers. Pass it on to your children, mothers. You got to work for it, fight for it, day and night for it, and every generation's got to do it again. Fred Ross, presente.